Good morning. This is John Robinson with DOCGETTOCHILD. I'm back here in my backyard again, working on my art. And I'm not. This is my other part of my studio, and it's just so good to be alive this morning. Just to take a view of what I'm doing, and I'm out here on my balcony, on my back porch, and working on my art back here. So this is what I'm doing this morning. Today, rather. It's not morning, this is about 1 o'clock. I don't know why I keep saying this morning. But here I am again. Working on my art and design. And this is a portrait that I was doing with my wife and I. And let's sit down here. As I begin to get started, so I'm working on. Last time we discussed this, I was working on the eyes and this area here. So I take my time. I'm not the very best in the world, you know. I take my time. I love my. This is my escape from illness. Those who've been, you know, kind of watched on this. And this is how I find my escape, through this relaxation. Listen to the nature out here, and I go to work on my drawings and this kind of thing. And I'm using these smudges. I call them smudges. I use these. And as I was speaking on the other day, we were talking about economic oppression, the first black president, and all of that good stuff. And how that if you're not in the clique with the slicks and all of that, with the good old boy system, you can't get nothing here in Lowndes County. Okay? And me having esophageal cancer, I said that I let everyone know that I've been diagnosed, and I dedicated the rest of my life, or the time I do have left, dedicated to helping someone, especially entrepreneurs. Okay? So along those lines, you know, we were talking about, talking about the first black president of the United States. Okay? And what it means to us as a people, a race of people, black folk, to have the first black president of the United States of America, in spite if others don't feel that he's doing such a fantastic job and all of this, okay? But what we must understand is that, you know, I'm a minister and I believe in God. I also believe in the metaphors and principles of science. Because after all, the several liberal arts that Abraham and those fellows taught, if you would read, you would understand these things. But you take for example, our president, many may be in disagreement, but he inherited a broken nation. And that being the case, what can we say or what can we do? Only thing that we can say and do is why don't we try to come up with some methods, some ways and means and methods, you know, to help do some things that could make some things work instead of being such a critic. We can always find room to criticize, but what we don't understand, you know, let's take for example our universe and see if we can make some sense of some things. There's in fact, you know, for years and years, our scientists were thinking of space, deep, outer space, you know. And you take an example, but there's no void, you know, emptiness in the universe. But at one time, we would think that there was a great void and emptiness in the universe because we were the primitive minds. We didn't believe in the modern technology. Religion had our minds so captivated until that we just was unbelievable. We just could not believe, okay? Because we couldn't believe in the things we couldn't see, those things that was invisible to us. In fact, you know, there's no void, no emptiness in the universe. And that's even from the upper and to the outer surfaces, all the way up to the atmosphere, you know? Even unto the sun, when we look at it, you know? And all those planets and those remote planets that we couldn't see for years, They out there. But we couldn't see them because we didn't have the telescopes and other technology. But we can teach, how the Lord saved our souls, but we can't get up and teach the metaphors and principles of science, which deals with our intellectual ability of the way that we think. Okay? So that makes a vast difference in us. As a cancer survivor, I have to have my mind became open. Not until I got this cancer. I mean, I understood on many things, but I wasn't thinking about the invisible things in science or what I couldn't see out there. You take all the stars, some of them travel in different directions. I was science for hundreds of centuries. Okay? Imagine that it was just an old simple void and empty space. Comparing knowledge of finite knowledge to infinite knowledge. Okay? Not understanding that the manifestation of it all, okay? The scientists, they just didn't have the instruments that we have today. So through our intellectual abilities, we learned to make things work. So we got to look at it from a whole different perspective. Imagine how simple it must have been. Our philosophers back in those days, we know just a little bit more than the apes when you really think about it. Just a little bit more than apes. Okay? When it came to the infinite forces and the forces that became infinite, that was of God. And acting upon those forces, okay, and the infinite, and the variety and the severity and the moments, okay? Just the moments of it all. What I mean by moments is when something is moving, when something is active, in active motion. Never once did motion cease, okay? And it's the forces of all the activity through the whole spectrum, okay? Through everything that we were dealing with, all right? Was through the holes of space, the little small remote holes of space. Just by being space was the light. And the infinite light was that of God, that God created. Now, I said that to say this. Are our minds so void, so full of emptiness, that we can't comprehend that we have is time? We are in the time space of travel, of destiny. That it's time to have a black president in the continental United States, the most powerful nation on the earth. The nation that wants to be the police, the popo, wants to be the popo of everybody. The home of one world order. Let's face the facts and truth. Do we realize that we have to understand the complexity of it all? That it's not just an empty void, it's not just a space. Like I'll use that for a scenario level comparison about the void and the spaces from the surfaces to the atmosphere, okay? To the stars that's forever in motion, traveling, hurtling through the spaces. And here we are, our scientists didn't know much more than the apes pertaining to the space of the unknown. That's my comparison. We don't know no more than the apes. The greatest philosophers don't know no more than the ape when it comes to what's beyond our universe. We don't know if there's life out there we're searching, but we know for a fact by being ministers and men of God that there is life beyond that grave. Now, some can term it reincarnation, term it what you may or will or please, but life exists beyond. Are we hidden in the universe from something? Did God hide us from something? Like we love to eat fish out to sea. Is there something out there that is a predator to man? An angel called Obelisk was the predator. We know him as Satan, the great evil one, the one that was cast into the bottomless pit. And we're talking about voids and spaces. Let's get down with it then. That's what we don't want to discuss. Voids and spaces. Then we go to talking about the quantum of the equilibrium, dealing with the President of the United States and our man, and his man, and how our man is plagued with the voids and the spaces of thought, of reality. Dealing with the ghettos, dealing with the poverty that's upon the surfaces, that's not beyond these planets and these stars. Let's resolve this down here. So in our resolve, let us come to a place called Lowndes County, Valdosta, Georgia, where I am, and let us discuss this. Let us zoom in from way out of space, okay? From one of our intelligent instruments called the radar, a satellite, and zoom in down here, and not to beam me up, Scotty, but to get some of this knowledge about the infamous Lowndes County in Valdosta, the good old boy system where they've been ruling for 150 years, and no ethnic group can have anything as far as the upper echelons of power. That's right. And it's not about a race card. This is about the card. This is about our intellectual ability to think beyond those few moments. That's right. To think beyond where we are. But anyway, you know, I don't want to go too deep into this, but we was talking about the intellectual abilities that we have, and our president being the first black president of the United States, and we need him to invest in us, the American people. We need him to invest in us, bail us out, give us an opportunity down here at this latitude and longitude. Don't worry about the big guy that's done blasted out of space because he got so much money, got so much wealth, he got so much that he don't need it anymore. That the little guy down here is suffering, the guy that had a good job and lost it, now he's suffering. Now he understands his empty voices and spaces are being filled. All his sense of direction is chaos and become chaotic. So, Mr. President, if you're listening, burn us out. Associates of Mr. President, if you're listening, pass the message to bail us out. Bail out the little guy, the little poor white guy, the little poor black guy. Bail us out. Just bail us out. Bail us out, please. Now, it don't matter to me if I'm getting bailed or not, because I'm on death row and I ain't got but a couple more years to make, they say. But I know that's a lie, because God gonna let me know if I'm gonna live or die, not me. In spite of. Now fill that empty with the void. Okay? Fill that empty with the void. I bet you can't do that. Now measure that finite against the infinite. I bet you can't come back with the answer. Bet you that much. So, as I sit here the rest of the day and work on this and bring it about, I'm hoping that I hate to have to cut my video short, but I'm just hoping that by some means you can get some out of this. So this is for real. This is for real. We done been shut out here in Lowndes County. Our news leader, my brother Boston Ryan, he's over there. He's running his videos. He gets some real good hits on his. And our people are just being neglected. We just can't get the news out. The news media, the television stations, no one wants us, you know, but they can advertise everything that the good old boys say advertise, but anything pertaining to us, they shuts us off. But anyway, this is my drawings, and as we hurtle through space, you know, I hope that you got beamed in Lowndes County, and I hope that you can focus and beam in on that. But right now, I'm going to end this with, this is Doc's Ghetto Child.